Somaliland.
It's good to talk to you, and before anything else, I want you to know that I am signing now, as we speak, Israel's official recognition of Somaliland and its right of self-determination. Our friendship is seminal and historic.
Somaliland is not a nation. It's a clan project, a colonial relic, and a geopolitical pawn. How the breakaway began, 1991. Let's break down the brouhaha around Somaliland and actually educate people on what's going on. Because too many are buying a polished narrative built on omission, myth-making, and foreign interests. Somaliland officially declared its breakaway from Somalia on May 18, 1991. This followed the collapse of the Somali central government and a decade-long war in the north. The declaration itself came out of the Grand Conference of the Northern Clans in Burao, led by the Somali National Movement, SNM, and Northern Clan elders. That context matters. This was not a national referendum of all Somalis. It was a regional, clan-driven political move at a moment of total state collapse. Clan power, not national identity. Somali politics has never been shaped by ethnicity or religion. Somalis are overwhelmingly the same people. What drives power is clan family dominance. Somali society is organized around 5 major patrilineal clan families, and every political administration reflects that reality. In Somaliland, political power is overwhelmingly dominated by the Isaaq clan family, especially in the central regions. In the west, DIR clans such as the Gadabursi and Isaaq play a role. In the east, Darid subclans like the Dhulbahante and Warsangeli are present. Puntland, on the other hand, is dominated by the Darid clan family, particularly the Majeerteen subclan, along with other Hati-Darid groups such as the Dhulbahante and Warsangeli. South-central Somalia is more demographically complex, with large Hoi populations, Darid groups like the Mahan and Ogaden, the Rahanwain, Digil Mirafal, and DIR. The internal rejection, SSC-Khatumo. Even within what Somaliland claims as its territory, the fiction of unity collapses. The Dhulbahante clan, a Darid subclan, has openly rejected Somaliland's authority in the eastern regions. In 2023, following the uprising in Las Anod, Dhulbahante leaders established SSC-Khatumo, an autonomous administration that now functions as a de facto buffer between Somaliland and the rest of Somalia, including Puntland. SSC-Khatumo rejects Somaliland's secession outright and seeks recognition as a federal member state of Somalia. That single fact alone dismantles the claim that there is a unified Somaliland people. One people, weaponized colonial lines. There is no fundamental difference between the people of Somaliland, Somalia, and Puntland. They share the same ethnicity, the same religion, Sunni Islam, the same culture, and the same language. Yes, dialects differ by region. Northern dialects differ from southern ones, and in south-central Somalia there are also minority languages and cultures. That is normal internal diversity within one people, not proof of separate nations. The only divider being weaponized is colonial history. British administration in the north versus Italian administration in the south, repackaged as political destiny. Somaliland is often described as ethnically homogeneous because it is dominated by one clan family, the Isaaq. Somalia as a whole is more heterogeneous, with Hoi, Darid, Rahanwain, and minority groups such as the Somali Bantu, whose cultural traditions are not prevalent in the north. What is being sold as nationhood is, in reality, clan dominance dressed up as statehood. The elite disconnect at the top. If we are being honest, Somaliland would be more accurately described as an Isaaq-led administration. The idea of Somaliland as a separate nation is a political construction, not a historical or social reality. It is currently led by Abdirahman Mohammed Abdullahi, commonly known as Iro. His biography exposes the disconnect. He earned an MBA from an American university, spent years abroad as a diplomat, served at the Somali embassy in Moscow during the Soviet era, later moved to Finland, and obtained Finnish citizenship. This represents an elite class that lived comfortably in Europe and North America while Somalia burned. only to return and exploit the chaos in Mogadishu to push a breakaway project. This is not self-determination rooted in the popular will of all clans. It is elite-driven fragmentation built on colonial leftovers and clan politics. It should be rejected. Somaliland should be addressed within a federal Somali framework, not elevated into a false statehood that deepens division and weakens Somalia as a whole. Why Israel entered the picture? Now enter Israel. So why is Israel recognizing the breakaway administration in Somaliland? Strip away the diplomatic language and the motives become clearer and far more troubling. Military utility in the Red Sea. First is military utility. Somaliland sits directly across the Gulf of Aden from Yemen. Israel is reportedly exploring the establishment of a military and intelligence hub that to monitor and potentially launch operations against Iran-backed Houthi forces. This would give Israel and maritime reach in the Red Sea corridor without relying on more distant bases. The Palestinian resettlement allegations. Second are allegations, highly controversial but persistent, regarding Palestinian resettlement. Regional analysts and Palestinian officials have alleged that Israel and the U.S. explored using Somaliland as a destination for displaced Palestinians from Gaza. While publicly denied by Somaliland and Somalia, critics point to the timing of recognition and suggest a quid pro quo, recognition traded for land. Encircling regional rivals. Third is the encirclement of regional rivals. An Israeli foothold in the Horn of Africa pressures Egypt near the southern entrance of the Suez Canal, alarms Saudi Arabia over the southern Red Sea, and challenges Turkey, which maintains its largest overseas military base in Mogadishu. This is about leverage, not friendship. Hedging against China. Fourth is a strategic hedge against China. Djibouti currently hosts China's only overseas military base. By securing access to Berbera through a pro-Western partner, Israel and the U.S. create an alternative corridor that challenges Chinese influence in one of the world's most critical shipping lanes. Weaponizing secessionism in Africa. Fifth is the weaponization of secessionism. By recognizing a breakaway entity, Israel violates the long-standing African principle of territorial integrity. Critics argue this is intentional destabilization, weakening Somalia, which has been outspoken in criticizing Israel's actions in Gaza, and setting a dangerous precedent across Africa. A record in Africa, not liberation, exploitation. And let's be clear, Israel has never been a friend of African liberation. Historically, Israel collaborated with European powers to destabilize Africa. When much of the world sanctioned apartheid South Africa, Israel and the United States were among the few that supported white minority rule over indigenous black populations. The pattern extends into economic exploitation. Prominent Israeli businessmen and conglomerates have long been accused of exploiting African mineral wealth through corruption and unethical practices. Dan Gotler's control over Congolese diamonds, copper, and cobalt, costing the DRC billions in lost revenue. Benny Steinmetz's bribery cases tied to iron ore and Guinean diamond operations in Sierra Leone. Israel's diamond industry sourcing from conflict zones. Israeli firms negotiating stakes in Zambian state mining assets. South African coal shipments to Israel filling gaps left by sanctions elsewhere. African resources, Western profit, African instability. Covert operations and anti-Pan-Africanism. There is also the record of covert operations. Israeli intelligence, working alongside the CIA, MI5, and French intelligence, has been implicated in coups and destabilization efforts across Africa, targeting leaders and movements that pushed African unity and Pan-Africanism. Racism at home, Ethiopian Jews, and the Depo-Provera population decline. Even Israel's internal record on race exposes the truth it tries to hide. The case of Ethiopian Jews, black Jews brought to Israel under the banner of religious solidarity, reveals a system that does not see Africans as equals, even when they share the same faith. The Depo-Provera affair was not a rumor or conspiracy theory. It involved the widespread administration of long-acting contraceptive injections to Ethiopian Jewish women during their migration and absorption into Israeli society. These women were injected with Depo-Provera, a hormonal contraceptive that prevents pregnancy for months at a time. The core issue was lack of informed consent. Investigations and testimonies revealed that many Ethiopian women were never told the injections were contraceptives. Some were told they were vaccinations or routine medical shots. Others testified that they were pressured or coerced, explicitly or implicitly, into accepting the injections while in transit camps in Ethiopia, with the understanding that refusal could jeopardize their immigration to Israel. The impact was devastating and measurable. Between 2003 and 2013, the birth rate among Ethiopian Israeli women dropped by approximately 50%. This was not a natural demographic shift. It was sudden, sharp, and concentrated within one racial group. By 2008, Ethiopian women, who made up only about 2% of Israel's population, accounted for roughly 60% of all women receiving Depo-Provera injections in the country. No other Jewish group was subjected to this scale of reproductive intervention. This was not an accident. It reflected a deeper fear within Israeli institutions about black population growth and demographic balance. African Jews were welcomed symbolically, but managed biologically. Initially, Israeli authorities and partner organizations denied wrongdoing. But in January 2013, Israel's health ministry quietly issued a directive instructing doctors to stop administering Depo-Provera to Ethiopian women unless they fully understood and consented to the treatment. This directive was widely seen as a tacit admission that informed consent had not existed before. As of 2025, the case remains unresolved. No comprehensive statewide compensation program has been established. Survivors continue to speak out. New documentaries and human rights reports released in 2025 describe the practice as reproductive violence, a deliberate policy that resulted in population decline within a black Jewish community. This matters because if Israel treats black Jews under the same God this way, managing their reproduction, reducing their population, and denying accountability, Africans should have no illusions about solidarity, friendship, or moral alignment. This is not an anomaly. It is a pattern, and it exposes the lie at the center of the narrative, that Israel's actions in Africa, or toward Africans, are rooted in shared values or mutual respect. They are not. Don't buy the narrative. So no, this is not about Somaliland's right to exist. It is about clan dominance masquerading as nationhood, colonial borders recycled for convenience, and foreign powers exploiting African fractures for military, economic, and geopolitical gain. Don't buy the narrative. And while you are here, don't forget to subscribe for more deep geopolitical insights and real-time analysis from Frontline Macro Analysis TV.